Hello there! Today I want to show you a quick game that you can play to help review phonics skills in your classroom, or you can actually apply it to lots of different concepts. In fact, I learned how to play it with shapes, so I'm going to teach you how to play it that way, and then I'm going to show you how you can also apply it to phonics. So I actually learned this game over 20 years ago when I was student teaching, and there was a substitute teacher there in that day, and she told me that she carried this game wherever she went because it was really engaging, and whenever the class needed a little brain break or if they were a little bit too chatty, she would stop, she would take out this game, and right away the kids would be on task. So I'm going to show you the rules, and then I'm going to show you how you can apply it to phonics. She would start by having a bunch of shapes in a bag. Now, I've already completed part of this Venn diagram for you to save some time, but she would take out the shapes and she would put them outside the Venn diagram. So they obviously had little magnets on them, and she would do this on her whiteboard. Once some of the shapes were already on the board, the students started realizing there were different shapes, different colors, different sizes. So she would ask them, "What else do you think is in my bag?" And they will look up there and they might say, "Oh, I think there's a small yellow circle. I think there's a large green square." And once all the shapes were up there, then she would say, "Okay, you have to come up and pick a shape, put it where you think it belongs in the Venn diagram." So you start off with the blank Venn diagram with no categories, but you know the categories. So if you're like me and you have a bad memory, you have to make sure that you write those categories down. So she would call the students one at a time. They would come up, pick a shape, put it where they think it belongs. She would give them a thumbs up. Thumbs down meant you had to put the shape back. If they picked a shape that didn't belong anywhere on the Venn diagram, then she would just tell them to put it to the side. Once the students got an idea and they thought they knew the categories, she would ask them, and if they got the correct categories, she would reveal those mystery categories. So looking at this chart, you probably figured it out already, but this circle is red and this one is small. So obviously in the middle, we have all of the red and small shapes. Now you can do this with words by having words on little cards with magnets, or you can just have a list of words and have the students write the word, and then you can erase them as you go. I also have these little magnet sheets that you can use if you want to print out the words, but these can get very expensive if you need a lot of them. Okay, so for example, here's a list of words that have short vowels. So if you're doing CVC, if you're doing a review of CVC words, you might use a word like this, and then the students would put them in the Venn diagram, and it might look like this when you're done. So if your categories are short A, ends with T, then obviously the words in the middle have both short A and they end with a T. So I did two for you to see if you could figure out, because here's a different way that you can play this game. You can already have the Venn diagram filled out for your students, and then you can ask them to see if they can figure out what the categories are. So if you need to pause and see if you can figure out what the categories are before I reveal them. This one is digraphs, and this one is words that have the letter Y. And then obviously the middle has both. And here's one more fun one. This is a little bit trickier. And this circle has words that have 4 letters, and this circle has short vowel words. So as you can see, you can do so many different concepts with this. I love to do this at the beginning of the year with their names as well. We do lots of name activities in September, getting to know you, the number of letters in your name, clap the syllables in your name, what letter does it begin with, any letters that are inside your names. There's so many different categories that you can do. So hopefully this will come in handy. If you're teaching summer school, you might want to try it out with your students. If you're off for the summer already, then you definitely want to keep this in mind for next year. I hope this was helpful. Have a great week.